Hello, my name is Heath Poland. As you can see, I'm captain. Um, it's the rank I chose instead of chief or anything like that for urban security agents. Um, I'm going to go over some of the things that I talk about in a course or a class um, that has to do with security guards, um, obviously, urban security agents. I'll also be drinking some coffee while we go over some of this. um, that being said, I'm also at home. Um, But this is some of the things that I go over during a class because people just don't understand what security is and what it takes to be in some of the situations that we're in. Okay. First of all, the first thing that I teach and tell everybody is that we're all human. Um, that being said, if you look, you can look it up on Google. You can look it up in an old-fashioned dictionary. It doesn't matter, but my sources came from Google, Merriam-Webster dictionary. Human definition: compassion, sympathetic, or generous behavior or disposition, a quality or state of being humane. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because we're human. I'm not above anybody, nor am I below anybody. We're, excuse me, we're all human. Um, and being in this field, whether it's private security or law enforcement, they tend to forget that because you put on a uniform, you've been given a power, you carry a gun. Um, my gun's sitting right here next to me, but they tend to forget that we're human and that we're dealing with other human beings. So first and foremost, everybody that I come in contact with, that I teach, that I preach, whatever you want to call it, we're all human. It's another reason why I chose the rank of captain instead of chief. Um, I don't want my guys to look at me like, oh, he's the owner, oh, he's the chief. No, I'm just as low man on the totem pole as y'all are. Do I carry a rank? Yes. Obviously, because I own the company, I still have to have and need that respect from my guys. But I'm also the owner that gets down in the trenches with my guys. Um, I get out there in the field. I put on my pants the same way they do. So, it all reverts back to being human. Secondly, integrity. Again, Merriam Webster Dictionary: the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness, not righteousness, uprightness. Um, Everything that I'm reading here, I try to uphold in my daily life. Not only in my daily life, but within my marriage, with me dealing with people, and more strongly within the company. Because if I don't show these qualities as a human being, as a leader, as an owner, and as a captain, my guys won't show the qualities back. They'll go out there and treat these people like shit, and that's unacceptable to me. Okay, excuse me. So the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, morals, a person's standard of behavior or beliefs concerning what is and is not acceptable for them to do. So I don't know if anybody knows the KISS synonym or acronym for it or whatever you want to call it. But keep it simple, stupid. I'm a big believer in that. Um, Basically, your morality is you knowing what is right and what is wrong. You This all ties into being human. Okay, when we get out here and we treat these people and we treat them like shit, they're gonna treat us back like shit. If we don't treat them like a human being and we don't have a good sense of what is wrong and right, then we're no better than the people that we're dealing with on the streets. Okay, and bad guys just obviously the bad guys, they know right from wrong, but they choose to do wrong. Okay, everything that we do in life is a choice. I choose to have my integrity at a high standard. I choose to have my morality at a high standard. I choose to be a human because guess what? I am human, just like you are, just like everybody else is. Ethics, moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conduct of an activity. Excuse me. Simply put, way of living. Okay, your ethics. It's the way you live. Okay, I live differently than somebody else does. I live differently than my guys do. I live differently than my next door neighbor. I live differently. And for those of you that know me, know that I definitely live differently. Moving on, accountability, an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions. Something real big that I just pound on is accountability. Something a lot of people, if you know me, a lot of people know that I pound on training. I pound on integrity, morals, ethics, and accountability and responsibility. If you can't be accountable and responsible for the actions that you do, you're probably in the wrong field of work. Okay? That goes for law enforcement officers, that goes for security officers, that goes for everybody. Excuse me, goodness. Again, I'm human, I cough, I'm also a smoker. Um, responsibility, the opportunity or ability to act independently and make decisions without authorization. The state or fact of being responsible, answerable, or accountable for something within one's power, control, or management. That's simple. I can't explain it any more simpler than that. I mean, I really can't. If you can't be responsible for your actions, what you do, and what you're in control of, I mean, come on, guys. It's all of this stuff you've been taught through your entire life. Again, it comes back to a choice. You either choose to do it or you choose not to do it, okay? Goodness, I am so sorry. So I'm gonna go a little further. Just, I did this for kicks and giggles to see what Google would say or what the dictionary, I mean, truth be told, I just did it for kicks and giggles. So I know right from wrong. I know how to be responsible and I know how to be accountable for everything that I do in my life. Responsibility is task focused. It relates to a person's role in completing a certain task. That's responsibility. Accountability is result focused. It relates to how a person reacts or owns the results of their task. So let me give a prime example. We're out here, we're dealing with somebody. Um, Now this overlaps in laws and it overlaps in other things as well, but I'm gonna try to make it real simple. Um, for instance, we did a hotel. It was one of our very first gigs here in Central Kentucky. Wonderful gig. We absolutely loved it. We enjoyed it. We had built a good rapport with people. Um, Anytime that we dealt with anybody, I had to be accountable and responsible for everything that I said. I didn't make promises. Um, and that's something they teach not only in the academy, in the fire department, in EMT, paramedics. You, when you're dealing with people on the worst days, you can't make a promise to them that you know that you cannot uphold. Okay. Again, for example, if we caught somebody breaking into another person's car, okay, um, I'm sure the damage would have been between $300 and about $800, especially for a busted window. not accounting for whatever else they were doing. Okay, I couldn't approach that person and go, "Oh man, you're not going to go to jail. You know, I'm not going to detain you. We'll get into detaining and whatnot at a later date. I'm not going to detain you." Blah blah blah. That is something that we witnessed, that we saw, that we have to take action over and about. We have to take accountability and responsibility over. That means that when I approach this person, I've already made it in my mind that we're probably going to detain this guy. And that being said, he's going to be detained until law enforcement shows up. Now, whatever law enforcement does after I release that person to them, that's on them and that person. But until then, I'm accountable for that person's safety and responsible for that person's safety. I'm accountable for everything that happens. I everything that happens. Um, so that being said, I have to watch everything that I do and I say. That's why I hold my integrity high, my morals, my ethics, being human, um, accountable and responsible. Um, I don't want to be in trouble. That's not my. I don't like being in trouble. So we deal with people. We have to be responsible for our actions and how we deal with them, and they have to be responsible for their actions and whatnot when they deal with us. Okay, so it goes both ways. It's a two-way street. Nonetheless, we still treat them as human. It doesn't matter how bad the guy is. Now, if I personally saw somebody just pull up, shoot somebody, and then drive off, yeah, it's a little different situation. Okay, and we'll get into that a little later. Okay. Until then, this is just the basics. Okay, moving on. Oxford Dictionary says this about the definition of security. Security, the state of being free from danger or threat. Okay, so that goes both ways as well. When we're dealing with somebody that's not made a good choice, and when we're dealing with the public in general, they expect to be free from danger or threat. That means danger or threat from us. That means danger and threat from the public. Okay? Procedures followed or measures taken to ensure the safety of a state or organization. That could be anything, anything. Public and private property, person, um, commercial or residential, uh, somebody's vehicle. There's a lot that goes into this, okay? Excuse me. A private police force that guards a building, campus, park, etc. Now, I don't like the definition of this because one, they use a private police force. We're not police officers. We're not. We're not. I mean, we. They say we're not policing the community, but that's not our job. That's why we have law enforcement. That's why we have police officers. That's their job to police the community. Okay. But the latter part of that is very true. It's somebody who guards a building, a campus, a park, residential, commercial, whatever the case may be, whatever the contract or agreement is for them to bring in a private security company. I really wish they had said private security instead, but that's neither here nor there. Um, you can look it up. I'm not even going to make the attempt at half of this, but the origins of security start in Latin, okay, and it branches off to one, two, three, four different branches. One is Latin, and it's the original meaning is free from care. And then it goes into Old French, Latin again, English, and then it goes into Middle Late English. And all it is how to say the word. The words, the origins of those words. Again, I'm not even going to make the attempt at it. Feel free to look it up. I encourage anybody to look up everything I'm talking about, okay? I really do. So let's move on. So basically, those are the main principles that I hit on before I put anybody in uniform, before I put them out on the street, before this is something I teach in a course, two other security officers, and it's something I teach in private as well. Um, all of those things still need to be taught in both areas, if, especially when handling a firearm. Especially when handling a firearm. Buying one, owning one, carrying one, being assigned one, any of it. Especially. And it also comes back to not only being a firearm, but given the powers to do these types of jobs with security, law enforcement, firemen, paramedic EMT, doctors, lawyers, judges, that you can look it all up. The basics for any of those jobs that hold a power in such a position revert back to all of it. They all want you to be human. They not only want you to be human, they want you to have a high integrity. They want you to have morals. They want you to have values. They want you to have ethics, accountability, and responsibility. Now I didn't touch on values, but that comes in too. All of those things are the base standards of things that you have to be able to hold these positions. You got to know right from wrong. You got to be accountable for everything you do. You got to be responsible for everything you do. Okay, I'm responsible for everybody underneath me. I'm accountable for all of those people, whether it's one or 100. Um, that's kind of how that works. So security, in my mind, the way I was taught, the way I was raised, is one, we're not law enforcement. Treat everybody like a human. My dad said something to me years ago that stuck with me for until now. And I even say this to my wife, my other owner, my guys. Don't let the uniform wear you. You wear the uniform. Um, I never understood that until I got into a really bad situation that I put myself in. Again, not, I learned. How about that? I learned. But these are all the basic standard things that you have to go in any of these things. Something that I teach highly upon, that I keep a very close eye on. Um, I won't put anybody out there that just doesn't get right from wrong. I won't put anybody out there that doesn't have a high integrity standard, or morals, or ethics. I don't need that. The the public doesn't need that. Um, do we go in depth as far as like law enforcement, military backgrounds and whatnot? No, no, we don't. Um, we're not obligated to. Do I take it a step further within my company? Yes. Yes. Yes, I do. I mean, I'm sitting here talking about it, aren't I? These are things that everybody needs to have in their life to begin with. Again, when I started this video, everybody's taught this from birth to when they leave the house. So again, in my view or whatever, for security, what it means is we're given a power to treat everybody like human, to have and uphold high integrity standards, moral standards, ethics standards, accountability and responsibility. When we go out there, we're professional, we conduct ourselves in a professional manner, and nothing below that. Nothing below that. I wish that law enforcement would harp on this a little more, along with some other things, and I'll get into that at a later time and date too. But I really wish they would harp on a lot of this a little bit more. That's my view of security. We're not law enforcement officers. We're here to secure a person, property, building, park, or whatever, and we're gonna do it with everything that I list off at the highest standard that I can possibly get. If not, they will not work for me. Uh, that's just the way it is. I do not accept anything lower than what this is and how I view it. A lot of people are going to go, "Oh man, you can't do that. Man, you can't. You're stepping on toes. You know, times are changing. This, that, and the other." No, no. It doesn't matter about the times. It doesn't matter the person. It doesn't matter the sex. It doesn't matter the creed, the color, the race, the culture, the country. This is basic stuff that everyone on Earth, human beings, are taught. So I will not accept anything lower. If I catch somebody being a shithead out on the job, the reprimands are going to be pretty high, if not completely terminated. I don't put up with it. I will not put up with it. So that being said, this is my view of what security is and how we're supposed to conduct ourselves as a human being in this uniform. And to be honest with you, in any uniform. Um, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you take something from it. Um, if not, you know what? I'm sorry. If you did, great. Please like it, share it, spread the word, and first and foremost of everything, be human, be kind, be sympathetic, be generous, um, be human. Okay? Have a good one.